everybody, welcome to Wingcat Sports. Today we're going to talk about the Red Wings and Yzerman. He has completely transformed the team over his 4 years so far, right? Four years
Yep.
so far as general manager. Since he started, there's actually only 4 players still in the system, which I actually found kind of surprising. The obvious one being Larkin. Larkin was on the team when he first came in. The other two being Rasmussen and Berggren. There's a fourth, but that's only if they end up re-signing him as Villano. But I don't think the Wings will be bringing him back.
Nope, I doubt they'll be bringing him back. But yeah, it's been, I think people are getting impatient a little bit with the Iser plan. But, you got to look at the factors, the fact that he's in such a tough division. And to try to, break through all that at the same time when you got teams like Ottawa, trying also to break through.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo Sabres, they're going to be a big team. So it's, I'm hoping that that's the new power in the Eastern Conference is us and Ottawa and Buffalo eventually. I think Boston's going to drop quite a bit this year. Maybe not out of the playoffs, but they're going to drop.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it is something when you look at, you have the two teams that aren't us, right? Buffalo and Ottawa have always struggled, except for Ottawa in the 2000s. They were a decent team then. But Buffalo hasn't been relevant since Ryan Miller was their goaltender.
That's true. That's true. But I think we're all kind of like going in the same direction at the same time. So we just got to hope that the teams above us will all fall out and while we're fighting each other.
And that usually is what happens. It'll be a cycle. Florida is never consistent, as we've said as I've said in previous videos. They've always been a 1 year good, 1 year bad. So we'll see what happens this year with Florida. They were 8th place, so they're kind of in the middle. But either they're in the playoffs or they're not typically.
What letter grade would you give Yzerman's thing so far?
So far since he started?
Yeah.
I would probably more or less give him a B-.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's been perfect, right? But also at the same time, he's had time. He's needed time to get rid of contracts. You still have to deal with Applicator for, I think, 3 more years, 2025, 2026. It's the last year you're paying off that contract. On top of, right, he's trying to completely reform a team, see if any of Ken Holland's prospects have been worth it. That's why you're no longer going to have Villano on the team. Erne isn't on the team. Villano's going to be gone. That's why I think you're left with Rasmussen and Berggren really off of what Holland was.
Right.
So he has had a cleanup job. That's why I'm not going to give him the perfect grade because he probably could be further at this point, but I'm not going to say he's done terrible. Only because he has had to clean up a mess of a previous GM who did get us to the playoffs for 25 straight years. So you can't fully complain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those end years were a mess in the financial standpoint.
Yeah, he had players and stuff for a long time that kept him, Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg, and, kept us in the playoffs. But we never really were that team that you thought had a real shot to win it. But he wanted to keep that streak alive. So that's always the debate. Do you do that, or do you start to rebuild earlier? I don't think Ken Holland's done all that great a job in Edmonton. He inherited most of those talent.
Yes, he did.
And we don't have a Connor McDavid.
And he has made some bad deals. But the biggest fault for his deals is James Neal. Right. He had no success in Ottawa. Not in Ottawa, and then Edmonton. Right. After they acquired him. And I think they weren't going to get Lucic. I was thinking about Lucic on Edmonton, but I don't think Lucic was ever on Edmonton. He was on Calgary.
Who was that Chicago defenseman he picked up? That really old guy.
Duncan Keith.
And he hasn't done much.
So,
I think Yzerman, I agree with you. I'd give him a solid B, I think, even though I'm very critical at times of him. I think it's more because we're impatient and it's just hard to leapfrog the teams we need to leapfrog in our division. They're so good. Tampa Bay's still good. Toronto's going to be better or right around the same.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a tough, tough division to play in.
I think the reason people give Yzerman a lot more hate about what he's doing is because of all our sports teams, the one team you were used to winning was the Red Wings.
For me growing up, yeah, from
Uh,
about 1990 on.
So you expect a lot more out of the Wings than you do out of the Tigers, than you do out of the Lions or even the Pistons. You are expecting the Wings to at least always be a decent
Right.
team
Well, I'm old
because
enough.
they've always been a decent. My whole entire childhood was playoffs,
Right. Right.
so you're always going to expect them to play well. So when it's been near last place the past 3-4 years, you've been upset
And they
because
haven't been in
then
the playoffs since when? Like
I
2015,
think
16.
16 or 17 was the
It's been a
last year.
long time. It's been
But
a long drought.
well, that's what I'm saying. You've expected them to be better, right? Because you're used
Right.
to it. But when you go through that rebuild, like Eisman was handling, you are going to be at the bottom, and you kind of just got to wait it out. And we're getting to that point where it's either he needs to come out of the rebuild or he's going to be gone.
Right.
With how he has built the team this
I
year,
think it would take an awful lot for them to get rid of Yzerman. That's
it,
part of
it
the
will.
problem is
I
that
I say
he
if they
is
don't make the
as
playoffs
close
this
to
year, they need to get him on the hot
he's
seat.
as close to an unfireable person as there is. I'm not saying he isn't fireable, but it would take an awful, awful, awful lot for him to go. He's just such a legend in this town.
Yeah,
And he's not doing a bad job. He's doing a good job. We need him to do a really good job and stuff. And we need to see. I'm hopeful. Like I said, it's going to be a fun winter with the Wings and the Lions. I hope they both, give this town something to root for through the cold months. It'll be fun. I'm hoping.
I am expecting to see not only around Ford Field but around Little Caesars. Right, we got that plaza. It could be getting busy for some away games at times
Yeah.
for people watching it around the city. As long as I doubt there'll be too many people in there when it's cold, but maybe in April and in October you could see it a little busy down
People are
there.
crazy. Sports fans are crazy. If the team is doing great and it's a big game, who knows? They might go down there and party on a cold night.
Potentially. But any final thoughts?
No.
No, nothing to
I gotta
finish
go
off
band
with that.
practice.
Anything left? Well, like I said, with Yzerman, I have faith that he at least can figure this out. I mean, he has turned the team around and they've gotten slowly better. Last year was a blemish, I think, coaching wise. No success out of all the coaches we've had. I mean, we had Mike Babcock leading into Jeff Blashill. Blashill had 1 year in the playoffs and then
I can't believe
never
the guy's
again.
got another coaching gig. So
And then he's not Mike Babcock. You know
Yeah.
about Mike Babcock in Columbus, and Blashill does not have another head coaching gig, and I don't know if he'll get one. But he was our blemish. Well, I think we're doing good with our coach now.
yeah,
But
I
we will
just
see what
don't think
happens.
I think Blashill wasn't the guy, but I also think he had very little to work with. So
Yeah, but with,
um,
with that being said, right? If you like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Until next time, I hope to see everybody soon.